Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NCAA 2005. And we are here getting underway with some conference play, some Pac-10 play. We got our revenge against Oregon State last week off camera, and now this week we are going to be playing Stanford, seeking some revenge after Stanford absolutely trounced us last year on the road. But now we are back in Moscow and welcoming an 0-3 Stanford Cardinal team, which is mostly a lot of the same core. They switched quarterbacks, but outside of that, it's mostly the same roster. I mean, it's really about the same roster. So it's kind of weird that they've even lost 3 games. So those 3 games were against Wake Forest, who is a top 10 ranked team. I don't know what they were ranked at the time of beating Stanford, but they are now a top 10 ranked team. They also lost a home game to Bowling Green State, if you can believe that. A 3-point loss, 41-44 to Bowling Green State. And then they also dropped a game to Notre Dame last week, which, we can't really be super shocked. Notre Dame's not the same Notre Dame in this game or this far into the sim, but they are still, Notre Dame. So, but yeah, a lot of the Stanford team is the same that we saw last year, but they did switch up quarterbacks, and that quarterback's an 88 overall. So across the roster, everyone's in the mid to high 80s. So I don't know how good we fare in this game here because we've taken a step back into the season, but we already have a familiar face getting involved here on the field, and it's Jeff Oliver, who's running back for Stanford last year. Again, statistically, not a whole lot to talk about with any of these guys. Oliver didn't have a particularly great season last year outside of, playing against us. But he's getting busy right now in the Kiwi Dome as he gets another call, and he's going to get brought down right at about the 20. And so it looks like Stanford might be knocking on a red zone opportunity here on offense, but it quickly becomes 3rd and 10 for Stanford Cardinal here. And their quarterback, Mike McLaughlin's going to drop back and fire one across the middle, and that receiver's going to fall forward into the end zone. I believe it was Darvin Gross, the senior, the top receiver on Stanford, who made the catch here and got brought down in the end zone. But we'll get another look at it here. Right across the middle in double coverage, didn't matter. McLaughlin's still able to get the ball to his top guy into the end zone, just barely in the end zone. But 7-0 is the lead here. So Stanford back on offense now, and it's Jeff Oliver once again getting open in some open space here. Shimmies away, and he's completely gone. No one is going to catch him here. It looks like someone's going to try and catch up to him, but it's not going to matter here. I think it was Eli Weiss who tried to catch up to him. He's one of our DBs here, and he came into the play at the last second, but it didn't matter. He's Jeff Oliver gets himself apparently a record-setting touchdown. I don't know if that is. I don't know if it's a Stanford record. I mean, that was a school, or it looked like an FBS record, but I don't know about that. 75 yards from scrimmage. No one's broken that by this point in history. I don't know about that, but either way, 14-0 is the score now here in the Kiwi Dome, and finally we're on offense. Ross Chester here in our own end rolls out here trying to find something, and he throws it to the other team. Yeah, man, I don't know. We might have a quarterback problem. I don't know. Ross Chester doesn't seem to be giving us the best opportunities to win, despite winning big last week. I don't know, man. But Jeff Oliver continues to feast on our defense here. A spin move throws Eli Weiss completely out of his shoes, man. He was lost out there, completely lost in a different hemisphere. And Jeff Oliver, another amazing pickup for him. Now 1st and goal from about the 5. And now Stanford's going to go to their fullback, another returning face from last year. Jason Clinton, the senior fullback, gets a nice little run here to get close to the goal line here. He just about was in, but somehow wasn't. So in 2nd and goal, they're going to go right back to Clinton and give him that touchdown anyway, and he gets it. Now Stanford really kind of opens up this lead here in the Kiwi Dome. As so far on offense, we've had really no answer, and even on defense, we've had no answer for Stanford. So, still in the first quarter here, there's still plenty of time, and Stanford's going to go the other way here. Little receiver reversal with Delvin London, another returning face from last season, and he's going to get a nice pickup on the ground. And there you can see the rushing comparison. We've just been able to do nothing on offense against Stanford's defense, and now they are up 21-0 on the 22-ranked Idaho Vandals. And again, don't know how we got ranked 22, man, because this seemed to be always kind of in our future. So I don't know, but Stanford now, once again, still moving on offense here. They're going to go with the ground game once again, but fortunately we were able to tackle them shy of the stick, so they're going to bring out the kicking team to try and nail home this field goal, and he does just that. So Stanford extends to 24-0, so at least we finally got some form of a stop of Stanford's offense. But on 3rd and 18 here, we're just moving backwards, moving further back. Chester, zero pocket presence once again, just gets absolutely clobbered from behind, takes all day to make a decision. We have a quarterback problem. I'm just going to say it. I don't know. I don't want to say it, man, because we've seen I don't know. We've seen this team be able to win under Chester here. We're 3-0. You know what I mean? We've been able to see that happen, that development happen. But now we are punting from our own end zone. So, and now regardless of how early or how late we tackle, and I think it's Oliver, the running back, again, gets to the outside edge and is going to bring it back inside the 20, man. So we might as well just arm punted because it's going to have the same result here. But on third down, McLaughlin tries to float this one across the middle. Is that a lineman downfield? is that a lineman? That was at number 7. Is that a lineman downfield? What is that? Either way, it's going to bring a fourth down, so Stanford's going to have to rely on the kicking unit once again, and the kick is good, so now the score is 27-0. But, we've seen this team win under Chester, but he just never seems to perform well in these games, so I don't know if he's necessarily, we're winning because of Ross Chester's efforts or we're winning in spite. But here's a deep bomb downfield, getting desperate now, and that is essentially an arm punt. That right there is an arm punt. But unfortunately, the player who caught it, Mr. Brian Patton, did get injured on the play, and that would be it for him for the rest of the game, so he's at least that's something, man. An eye for an eye, maybe? I don't know. But Stanford driving this one across midfield here. McLaughlin floats one down the sideline, and that ball is caught inside the 10. It looks like it might have been a tight end, but I don't think it was Lucky Orr. I don't believe. Yeah, it was someone else on the team. But second and goal here for Stanford. They're going to go back to Jeff Oliver for another touchdown, and Oliver just continues to feast on our defenses. We have no answer for the run game here of Stanford, man. They just seem to have that aspect of their game pretty much figured out against us. So 34-0 now the score here at the end of the first half. So it doesn't look like the revenge game is going to happen against Stanford, but hey, man, there's plenty of time left. Don't call it a comeback. There's plenty of time left. So once again, going with that reversal here, it's with that receiver who caught the pass earlier. He's not on my sheet here. I don't have an 88 on the sheet. I didn't go that far down on the receiving depth chart, but it's a nice pickup here. But quickly it becomes 3rd and 7 for Stanford. McLaughlin quickly releases that one. Looks like he tried to hit C.J. Barnett, and that one just sailed into the turf. That was a little bit too quickly here. Barnett was not even looking for it. So bring out special teams once again. I should have got the name of the kicker if he was this involved. I didn't think to write down the kicker's name, but this time he misses it. So I guess it really doesn't matter. So he pushes it wide right, it looks like. So the score will remain 34-0 here in the third quarter. So that is all that would happen in the third quarter. We're, of course, not doing anything in this game by this point. But, hey, to start the fourth quarter here, we got ourselves an opportunity. Keith Bridges finds some open space up the middle. A nice gain for him, and finally we're seeing anything from Keith Bridges here, who's done absolutely nothing for like a year and a half now, and it's starting to get very frustrating. He's one of the best players on the team. I think he might be the best player on our offense, and doing absolutely nothing, doing absolutely bugger all, as the Brits say. But he does something there, so I guess we'll take it, I guess. 1st and 10 now. Chester drops back to pass here, takes his time, floats it out down the sideline, and that pass is going to be caught, and it looks like it might have been the fullback, Stuart Malone, who I think caught that. We might get another look at it. I don't know. We might get a replay, but it looked like Stuart Malone, who was signaling that he was open almost immediately, like at the peak of his route. You could see his hand go up in the initial play, but still somehow got the ball. So yeah, I think Stuart Malone, the fullback, who caught that one. So 1st and goal here for the Vandals, finally looking to add some points if at all possible. Chester, a dangerous pass, but it ends up in a touchdown for the Vandals as Roderick Williams makes that catch right at the goal line. He gets speared into the end zone for the first points of the game for Idaho. And it took forever. It took a long, long while, but we finally managed to come back. Not come back, but add something, do something of note in this game. I was a bit worried that we wouldn't. So 34-7 is the score on 3rd and 7 now for Stanford. They have another chance on offense, and another pass completed across the middle for a first down. And Stanford has went to the backups officially, guys. They officially have the backups in the game. So no more McLaughlin, but it doesn't matter because the next quarterback on their depth chart, I think, is also like an 80 or 82 overall. So we're still kind of struggling here. But Stanford, again, going to go to Taylor. I saw his name on his jersey. So Taylor, I'm going to try and convert another field goal, and he does. He nails this one. That was kind of long. I'll give it to him. We're in a dome. There's no elements, but still a long field goal regardless. So 37-7, 30-point game here. But we still have time to add something, to do something here. And Chester able to hit a receiver on the left side of the field. I would assume it's Roderick Williams. I think it's Roderick Williams. I believe. That's typically the side that I think we at least see him on. But 1st and 10 for Idaho here. Under 3 minutes left to go. Chester unloads one to the back of the end zone, and it looks like it's Trey Moe Mosley who's going to haul this one in, and he'll get himself a touchdown in this game. So if anything else, or if nothing else, we're going to stat pad a little bit here, some garbage time plays, garbage time points here just to make it look a little bit closer. But Stanford would add another field goal, and 40-14 is going to be your score here. I thought about maybe stretching this into a two-game episode, but I didn't have another game recorded, so I'm like, it'll just be funny to include another Stanford blowout. Maybe one year we'll beat Stanford. I think with our current sanctions, it's not going to happen anytime soon, but who knows? Maybe we could beat Stanford. I don't know. But we get ranked just to get embarrassed once again. That seems to be a running theme in this game. I don't know why they keep giving us the benefit of the doubt in the top 25. We certainly do not deserve it. So even in the stats, man, nothing. I mean, look at the rushing comparison. Goodness gracious. Looks like between both quarterbacks, the passing numbers are about the same. So, I guess you can't be super upset about that. We didn't convert a single third down. Stanford was in the red zone 8 times and only scored on half of those opportunities. So this game could have been like 70-7 if Stanford could do anything in the red zone. So it looks like our red zone defense was pretty darn good today, but it didn't really matter because our offense couldn't do much of anything. So, and Chester with 2 picks and 2 touchdowns. So it's always a mixed bag, and the completion percentage is just way, way, way too low for a starting quarterback. We can't have our starting quarterback only completing 40% of his passes, 40 to 50% of his passes. That's got to be at least in the upper 50s. Like, it has to, and it's not. And the receivers aren't really getting the ball spread around that much here. We got Roger Williams, who's a prodigy on our team and our program right now, and I feel like he's being wasted away with Chester at the helm. So we might need to see a change here, but again, we're still winning games. As you see, we beat Cal on the road. We go to Berkeley and beat Cal in another high-scoring game, and which presumably Rochester performed pretty well in, and that puts us at 4-1, back in the top 25, heading to Seattle to play Washington. So we're going to see what happens here against the Huskies. I don't have a ton of hope given what happened to Stanford, but we're back ranked again, so hope to see you guys in Seattle when we play the Washington Huskies.